Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go ballsy! And boy am I happy to say Boruto had a chapter that was fire!
Yes! 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 Yeah, baby!
There are so many things to cover in Boruto Chapter 69. Number 1, the extent of Eida's simping ability, where the power extends to females. I mean, AMADO took the term 69 quite seriously.
Hey bro, watch your jet.
Hey!
Number 2, I hate to say it, but another foreshadowing of Sasuke's death?
Man, I'm dead!
Number 3, Sarada confessed her feelings for Boruto. Okay, that just triggered an entire segment of the fandom, but please don't shoot the messenger. Number 4, AMADO lies once again and Shikamaru's 200 IQ brain returns.
This is big brain time.
Chapter 69 of Boruto begins with AMADO shocked as hell that Eida still existed. She says how AMADO has the same old stupid reactions as he watched on in terror. We as the readers have never witnessed AMADO react in such a way. You know, usually he's casually smoking his blunt and cigarette, however you want to put it, but I'm just saying, how does he get those ideas? For example, even when Kawaki was taken away by Ishiki, he wasn't this terrified. But the fact that this is normal to Eida, it just further exemplifies that they have a deep history with each other, and it's in his best interest that she was disposed of. Anyway, Shikamaru watches on, wondering who and what is Eida. Meanwhile, Delta flies in to attack both CODE and Eida, but wait, she stops midway, flashing herself at Eida and, well, you know, the readers. And this is chapter 69 after all, if you get what I'm saying.
We do not.
She stops because Delta is now one of Eida's many simps, including you. Do you want your own army of simps?
Yeah.
Well, luckily for you, Gamer Subs gives you that Chad energy that you need. You can use our code ABD to get 10% off, or you can even get some of that shit for free. Yes, free. Simply just use our link in the description and get yourself some free samples. It's that easy. We then hop on over to Sasuke and Boruto having a heart-to-heart regarding Boruto's recent death. Sasuke apologizes as he said in chapter 49 that if Boruto was ever to lose control to Momoshiki, he would be the one to kill him. But of course, Kawaki was the one that got the job done, as Sasuke was doing what Sasuke does best, dipping to the corner store to buy some milk for the kids.
Emotional, damn it!
He goes on to confirm that only a select few know about what Kawaki had done, confirming our analysis from last month regarding if the news of Boruto's death was done at Kawaki's hands. If that shit was made public, it would drive him out of the village due to hatred, similar to how the common consensus began to view Sasuke during Shippuden. However, Sasuke mentions how the village doesn't need to hate anyone except for him. Oh shit, he's being emo again. I'm joking. Come on, Sasuke's my favorite, man. The development of his character is too good.
It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts. These facts are not facts.
Alright, I'm gonna stop nerding out for this guy. Give me a moment.
A few moments later.
But this definitely fits into his character tremendously. After all, Sasuke hasn't forgiven himself about what he did, which is why he refuses to accept a new eye and arm. It also fits into the ideology he had during the end of Naruto and the Hokage he sought to become, where he would emerge in the world as a common enemy to unify all the nations. Boruto goes on to say how it's wrong that Kawaki should be hated for what he did, as Boruto wanted it to happen, and that Kawaki was the only one who could have done it because they are brothers. In my eyes, this makes Sasuke think back to Itachi, as this whole situation greatly parallels the Uchiha massacre. Back then, Itachi slaughtered his family to save the village, which his parents ultimately understood. The same happened with Kawaki. Boruto understood what needed to be done and allowed himself to be killed by his brother. Sasuke, more than anyone, understands the pain that that his brother had gone through and doesn't want this to be repeated for Kawaki and Boruto's sake. While Sasuke thinks about that, Boruto remembers the headband he was given by his sensei and he tries to return it. If you guys don't remember, in chapter 49, Sasuke gave him the headband before the battle against Ishiki and likewise with Momoshiki. Boruto chapter 69 then hits us with a sudden revelation, another foreshadowing of Sasuke's death. And I hate saying it's blasphemy to say that. I love Sasuke too much. The chapter parallels the time skip as Boruto is ecstatic to receive acknowledgement from his sensei as he ties his headband. A similar motion which we see in the time skip as he puts it on before his battle with Kawaki, as he needs the resolve that Sasuke's shinobi way gives him to stop his brother. Sasuke then states, "I might be the one having to show his resolve next." This is whilst he stares at his daughter Sarada, the ninja he has to leave his legacy to. So you're probably wondering, wait, ABD, what does Sasuke mean with this statement? Well, Sasuke promised Boruto that he would be the one to stop him from rampaging and hurting others if Momoshiki took over. However, he wasn't around to complete the task and take on the burden whom he doesn't want others to bear. In Boruto's storytelling, there is a constant contrast between Boruto and Kawaki's relationship in the new shinobi era to that of Naruto and Sasuke. For example, Sasuke hears of Boruto's resolve and how he was ready to die for the village. Sasuke is the only one so far that hasn't attempted to sacrifice himself. Kawaki showed his resolve against Momoshiki, setting himself on fire to save Boruto's life. Naruto showed his resolve against Ishiki Otsutsuki as he was willing to die for the village and sacrifice Kurama. And lastly, Boruto, who sacrificed himself to stop Momoshiki's rampage, leaving just Sasuke, who hasn't had an opportunity to fulfill the duty he swore to complete. All of these characters are ready to be killed for the benefit of the world. Therefore, Sasuke believes it's his responsibility as a ninja to protect the next generation from making the same mistakes that he did. Sasuke saw Naruto as a brother in Naruto Shippuden, and that was the very reason he thought Naruto needed to be cut down and their bond severed, because if he did, Sasuke would finally be able to create his revolution where his ties to morality would be vanished. He would be able to take on all the hatred of the world. But since his love for Naruto would always be a weakness, Sasuke thought he had to kill him. In contrast, Kawaki has achieved what Sasuke couldn't do. He killed his brother Boruto, but they are both naive at the consequences of their actions. Now that Kawaki has proven and crossed the realm of killing his own brother, if things don't end up going correctly in the future of the Boruto manga, Kawaki will be left with the same conclusion as Sasuke did in the past, to destroy bonds and others so that he can achieve his ultimate plan of protecting Naruto at all costs. So all the plot threads connect to this headband once again. It gives another clue that Sasuke needs to show his resolve. He must be the one that gives Boruto the scar on his eye and the marking on the headband that we can see in the time skip, as Sasuke would use his sword to strike Boruto. Boruto says, "I will treasure this headband for the rest of my life, yeah!" Which essentially means the scar and headband are all permanent signs of Sasuke's legacy being passed on to his student and what it means to be a ninja. That's why Boruto still holds onto these ideals in the time skip against Kawaki. Sasuke's sacrifice will not go in vain. Alright, now let's stop the music. With that out the way, let's talk about something less depressing. Boruto x Sarada! Yeah! Just a reminder guys, I'm a 30-year-old man excited to talk about two 12-year-olds having feelings for each other. Let that settle in how sad my life is. And for that, you need to smash the like button. Anyways, let's get back to the point. Sarada and Mitsuki have a conversation regarding the events of Boruto's death. Mitsuki feels guilty that he could have died without him being there to help him. And if he was aware of anyone trying to kill Boruto, he really wouldn't know what he would do to that person. Even the likes of Kawaki, who is his his brother. Anyways, as the story moves forward, Sarada agrees with Mitsuki and she feels angrier and angrier knowing what is happening to Boruto's life. She's relieved he is safe, but can't help but feel that it's not his fault. Boruto couldn't help any of this happening, and she questions if they are even dependable to him. She wishes that she could help Boruto even more. Sarada wonders if this anger she feels is misdirected, in which she is actually angry at herself. If anything, Mitsuki interprets these words as if it's Twitter, fam, by taking it as a confession, and he wants to confirm that Sarada does have feelings for Boruto. Sarada claps back saying, "What are you talking about, fam?" Saying her feelings for Boruto doesn't change the situation and has nothing to do with what she meant. Mitsuki then ponders on the sociology and psychology of humans, wondering if it's really that hard to admit something like your true feelings. So obviously, Mitsuki is trying to understand emotions, as he wants to enter phase 4 of his development, as Orochimaru admitted that he designed Mitsuki to become a true conscious being that can understand what it means to be human. He is Boruto's moon. So at the end of the day, Mitsuki's interpretation could be correct, because feeling angry at yourself for not being able to help someone or lessen their burden, it's a sign of love. Let's be real, a human ain't gonna feel angry at themselves unless they care about them deeply. That's something selfless, and being selfless for another human means that you have unconditional love for them, especially since Mitsuki has noticed that Sarada's eyes lighten up whenever it comes to Boruto, which we have seen in all of these panels. Take a look.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
Now, if you want to know more about who Boruto will marry, then look no further than our Twitter, because some of you guys are sus as hell. How the hell did Hanabi get 20% of the vote? She's Boruto's aunt. But getting back to the point, as Mitsuki states, he wonders why is it hard for humans to admit their true emotions, as he truly believes Sarada is in love with Boruto. This links back to moments even in chapter 19, where Sumire basically told Sarada that she likes Boruto and she feels jealous that other girls might like him too. This flustered Sarada and made her nervous, showcasing that there is definitely potential for her to have feelings for him. Unfortunately, in the anime, this scene was cut out.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Now, if we even look at chapter 35, where Sarada teases Boruto about finally becoming sensitive, and when Mitsuki disagrees with her, she gets flustered and admits that she was joking. If she only meant to tease Boruto and wasn't flirting at all, she probably wouldn't have gotten flustered, considering she's usually so calm and collected. Again, not admitting her true feelings. So guys, if you are interested in every sign of this shit, because let's be honest, you are, like, don't kid yourselves, like, bloody hell, I'm a 4-year-old man talking about think about my life, guys. So watch this video. It's gonna be in the pinned comments for you, as I explain every sign why Boruto and Sarada will be married.
Okay, Adil, that sounds great, but let's get serious again. Boruto Chapter 69 then confirms that Mitsuki and Sarada will need to be power scaled even higher to take on Otsutsuki level threats. They will train and need the resolve to achieve their dreams, especially since Sarada wants to become Hokage. Now, the scene changes to Kawaki lying on a hospital bed, in a half-awakened state. He just woke up and seems to be extremely exhausted. It took him a few moments to notice both Sumire and Naruto. However, simply hearing Naruto's voice alerted him as he became serious. It should be apparent why he killed Boruto, or so he believes. Even then, Naruto's greeting him like usual, even reminiscing back to the time when they first met in this exact hospital room. Kawaki addresses the issue directly, as he expects grave consequences for his actions, including resentment from the person he loves so dearly. Naruto's dialogue about how the scenario is similar to the time that they first met is quite beautiful, to be honest. It signifies how Kawaki has built a good bond with the people in power of Konoha and Boruto's generation of shinobis as well. He was even lovingly adopted by the Uzumaki family. Now, due to his actions, he's a stranger yet again. People will resent him for the decision he made. People close to Kawaki know that he is a caring individual. He just doesn't know how to express it properly due to his past traumas. Now, he seemed like a true monster, who even worked in cahoots with the sly AMADO. Being a stranger again, Kawaki's response comes off as harsh, as he tries to cut away the affection Naruto is providing, much like the first time they met. This is proved by Shikamaru's reaction in the previous chapters, as he considers Kawaki to be a serious threat, and how Mitsuki was addressing the scenario in this chapter as well, as he even admitted that he sounded quite disturbed. Coming back to the chapter though, Naruto was trying to avoid talking about this topic in front of Sumire, as she might start to hate Kawaki after she gets to know what he had done. However, it doesn't really seem like Kawaki gives a shit, as he simply blurts his thoughts out loud, asking Naruto as to why he's so calm about his son's death. And well, as you'd expect, Sumire is clearly caught off by this huge revelation. Naruto then informs Kawaki about Boruto's condition. Clearly flabbergasted, Kawaki doesn't know what the hell Naruto is talking about. I mean, to be honest, I probably would too if I left a gaping hole through someone's heart, watched them die, and then just to wake up a few hours later to hear that they're alive. Yeah, you're gonna have to run that one by me a couple times as well, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, Naruto explains in short by saying that Karma's power saved him. Kawaki's beloved Hokage then goes on to show his gratitude to him, as he admits that everyone there would have been dead if it wasn't for Kawaki's power. He then insists that Boruto believes the same, and even went on to say that Kawaki took on a painful role, which is absolutely true. Now, whilst Kawaki is trying to act all cool, I believe that he's simply at a loss for words. This, after all, is a complex situation, and Kawaki expected the worst of the worst treatment, and instead he's being thanked by the man who saw the death of his son at the hands of his adopted one. Anywho, the conversation between the two of them is interrupted by Ino as she's using her jutsu to connect with Naruto and Sasuke. She informs the two of them that Code and one other person whose identity is unknown has attacked Lab 3 where AMADO is located. Naruto instantly gets up and says that he forgot about some important work that he's got to go and do, and that they'll have to discuss this matter at another time. Whereas Kawaki seems to be simply observing this and seems like he's got a decent idea about what is happening. It also seemed like Sasuke had second thoughts here, but in a positive way. He decides to tell Boruto about the situation and tells him to join him on the mission. Again, Sarada is ignored. I mean, it does make sense, let's be honest. What can Sarada and Mitsuki really do in their current state? I mean, they even admitted it themselves. But here we can see the stark difference between Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto still treats Kawaki as a child. He's going to fight Code and his partner alone, even though he isn't even strong enough to defeat him. Even in his current condition, Kawaki can play a pivotal role in the fight, but Naruto doesn't want to risk his life since he's a child. On the other hand, Sasuke tells Boruto to join him in the fight, showing that he treats Boruto as a full-fledged shinobi and someone that he can trust in the battlefield. We then head back over to Lab 3, where Shikamaru is trying to put up a fight against Eida. He uses his signature shadow possession technique on her, and much to literally everybody's surprise, it actually works. Eida believes that this is possible because of the fact that Shikamaru's jutsu doesn't hurt her directly. Shikamaru didn't understand a single word here, and he's even more confused as Eida seems to be more overjoyed over the fact that Shikamaru's jutsu worked on her rather than him himself. Shikamaru seems to get a weird type of fever all of a sudden too, which we know to be the fever of love, but he doesn't quite understand that yet. Anyway, he then asks Ino to connect him to AMADO using mind transmission so that he can ask him for some intel secretly. This works as AMADO is able to provide some significant information to the table. He explains the rules of Eida's powers to Shikamaru, and that he, Delta, and Shikamaru, in fact, no one can escape her ability.
So that was a fucking lie.
Now, we all know that AMADO is a compulsive liar that never quite paints the full picture to those he's in cahoots with, so it's likely that he purposefully omitted this information from Shikamaru in order to hide his true identity. After all, this wouldn't be the first time he's backstabbed someone now, would it? We had Jigen cashing Koji. It wouldn't be crazy to presume that he's going to do the exact exact same thing to Shikamaru. However, we saw in this chapter that Kawaki activated his dojutsu once Naruto had left the room, and so if he was to shrink himself, he would be the only person able to access Lab 3 after the lock was changed, as Kawaki would simply just be able to pass underneath the door. This would then expose AMADO as a liar, as Shikamaru would witness someone immune to Eida's ability. Now moving back to the chapter, Shikamaru may not have got the counter to her ability that he was after, but at least he got to know her name. We then see Delta completely just gushing over Eida as she throws a smile at her. And honestly, Delta kind of cute, you know? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Shikamaru is even more shocked right now, wondering how is this even possible? AMADO then explains that his fever, along with impaired judgment, stiffened muscles, etc., etc., are symptoms caused by Eida's ability. He further states that simple types of people, like Delta for example, would simply just be infatuated since they don't possess a lot of brain juice. Yeah, basically he's just called her a massive simp. Shikamaru is extremely determined to get rid of Eida and is ready to do all that he can to put an end to her psychotic control. However, he isn't winning this battle. He is losing control over CODE and Eida as his jutsu is weakening as every second passes. He even says that he has to put all of his focus onto this, just to stop himself from giving in. Eida herself compliments Shikamaru on this, even saying that it kind of makes her want to root for him instead. It just further goes on to tell you that she really just does not care about CODE at all. Anyway, Shikamaru then gives up as AMADO warns him that fighting against Eida's powers for too long might damage his brain. Something that Shikamaru, of all people, cannot afford to do. He was losing control anyways and wouldn't be able to damage Eida, so it was actually a pretty smart decision. And so with CODE finally free, the situation only gets worse. Shikamaru admits that even Naruto and Sasuke might end up kneeling in front of Eida's powers, as combined with a free CODE, it'd be near impossible to survive. Shikamaru seems to believe that he has to find a situation on his own in order to prevent the strongest duo in the world from these scientifically modified freaks. As Shikamaru releases his shadow possession jutsu, he realizes that Eida's ability is way too broken, man. Even without trying, this woman has been able to shut down everyone in the room without even having to lift a finger. And so this brings Shikamaru to the conclusion that Naruto and Sasuke would be completely useless against her and be in more danger than anyone else, as CODE has a massive vendetta to kill everyone who participated in the death of his god Ishiki. CODE, who is finally free from Shikamaru's shadow paralysis, goes straight for AMADO and tells him to comply like a good boy if he doesn't want to get hurt. AMADO responds by saying,
No, don't do that. No, go, that would hurt. Like,
shut up, CODE, he's a villain, he doesn't give a shit. And like, well, what do you know, CODE digs his crusty ass claws right under AMADO's collarbone, telling him how there are a lot of nerves converging there. And yeah, CODE, he is a scientist, so I would presume he probably knows that. Just saying. But as AMADO cries out in pain, it makes me wonder if everything is actually just one big act. AMADO faked all of his interaction with Ishiki whilst being a spy, and if he was able to pull one over Ishiki, who is, need I remind you, a 1,000-year-old alien Otsutsuki god possessing an extremely broken dojutsu, then AMADO's acting must be Oscar-worthy, no? AMADO not revealing the limitation to Eida's power along with not knowing that she was alive is already a red flag. Either way, CODE's torture tactics grosses Eida out, as she apparently isn't complicit in all of this. Shikamaru, hearing AMADO scream his lungs out in pain, remembers how AMADO told him that he's not a pro like the rest of them and he will break if he's pushed. Now, not wanting this sussy-wussy man to unleash CODE's limiters, Shikamaru activates his 200 level IQ plays. Like, I'm gonna be serious for a minute, hands down, this has to be Shikamaru's best moment in all of Boruto. Because what he does next honestly deserves a round of applause, okay? My guy is about to pimp out Kawaki.
You serious?
Yeah, that's right, guys. You are currently witnessing Konoha's greatest wingman. Because when Shikamaru asks Eida what her motive is and why she's helping Code, he learns that Eida is actually the biggest simp. After explaining that she doesn't care about Code's personal motive, Eida reveals her own reasons into helping it, where she goes, you see, I kind of like Kawaki. This revelation surprises even Shikamaru, along with AMADO. Either AMADO's thought process is genuine, where he is actually ignorant about Eida's ability not working against Otsutsuki's, which could be because he believed it to be destroyed before being used against Ishiki, therefore before he could witness that to be true, or AMADO isn't as smart as he thinks he is. However, we do have to remember that AMADO built these cyborgs with the intention of killing Ishiki, but knowing that there was a chance of betrayal, Ishiki ordered the destruction of all of his cyborgs. Subplot wise, I guess it could still make a little bit of sense as to why AMADO is this baffled, but this still does bring the question on why AMADO didn't install a voice activated shutdown command on Eida or Code. After all, it wouldn't technically cause her harm, so it should work regardless of her ability, right? The only explanation that we have is that unlike Delta and Kashinkoji, who have bodies that are artificially created, cyborgs like Kawaki, Code and Eida have merely had their own human bodies modified rather than having a brand new one created from scratch. But coming back to the chapter, Eida continues to reveal that Code is going to help her get Kawaki's ass and that in return she is helping him regain his power. With this new information, Shikamaru activates his balls deep big plays no jutsu and tells Ino that he's switching plans. He tells her to change the release code for the lock on the door to stall Naruto and the others. As Ino reluctantly agrees to his request, Eida comments on how Shikamaru must think that she is foolish in her quest for love. But Shikamaru begins his own talk no jutsu and tells Eida that no, he supports her love 100% of the way. In fact, you know what? He'll even go as far to help her make Kawaki her toy boy if she is willing to work with them and join Konoha's side. Like I said, alright, my guy became the #1 wingman. As he states, I believe that we can mutually aid each other and afterwards you can tell Kawaki how you feel or whatever else it is you want. This proposition shocks everyone, including Code. As you know, if you think about it, Eida would be a bit of a dumbass to turn down this opportunity. Like if she really does want to be with Kawaki or find out if she can make him fall in love with her, then forcefully taking him against his will probably is not the best way. I mean, I personally haven't tried it as a pickup line, but I could imagine it's not a very good one. And I mean, it didn't work for Jigen either. However, if she was introduced to Kawaki by mutual acquaintances, then I don't know. It's definitely a better starting place, I'll give her that. That's if Sumire doesn't get in her way at all, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Kawaki can even be requested by Naruto and Shikamaru to go on a date with her if she wants. Regardless of all that though, the fact that Shikamaru was able to think of such an idea showcases not only why he is the GOAT, but also his ninja resolve, which has been a reoccurring theme throughout this chapter. He doesn't want to have to whip out those divorce papers, and so he was able to compromise with Eida by overcoming the power which had been gifted to her by AMADO through artificial means by using the true power of a shinobi's heart and willpower. But I think that'll do from me. Now, YouTube is telling me that you're gonna like this video on your screen right now, so go over there and even tell them that they're stupid and wrong, or that they're really nice and they did a good job. Bye bye.